Okay, well, I want to start out doing a little Dr. Miller interpretation of The Great Gatsby. And so I'm going to read some passages and then comment on them a little bit. I think we already talked a little bit about what's going on in chapter one, right? Chapter one, we introduce all the main characters. We meet first Nick Carraway, who's our narrator. Then we find out where he's living. He's living next door to Gatsby. He is invited to dinner at his cousin's, who is Daisy Buchanan, married to Tom Buchanan. Tom Buchanan happened to be a classmate of his at Yale, so he's acquainted with Tom, knows Tom's character, knows Daisy remotely, and then he meets Jordan Baker, who becomes his love interest in the novel, and in the context of their dinner, the name of Gatsby is introduced. Jordan Baker assumes that since he lives in West Egg, he must know Gatsby, and then Myrtle, who is Tom's mistress, calls in the middle of dinner, and so she's introduced as a character. But just to look at the sort of the context of our narrator, what does he say first? The very first lines of the novel. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember, all the people in the world haven't had the advantages you've had. He didn't say any more, but we've always been unusually communicative in a reserved way, and I understood that he meant a great deal more than that. You know, this is a great line to open the book with because every word that Fitzgerald puts in here means more than just what it literally says. And I think Fitzgerald's telling us how to read the book here. He's telling us, hey, every line you got to think there's both an actual meaning and a symbolic meaning. What is our narrator telling us about himself? Well, he goes on to say, the abnormal mind is quick to detect and attach itself to that quality when it appears in a normal person. So it came about in college I was unjustly accused of being a politician because I was privy to the secret griefs of wild unknown men. Most of the confidences were unsought. Frequently I feigned sleep, preoccupation, or hostile levity when I realized some unmistakable sign that an intimate revelation was quivering on the horizon. People tell him their secrets, and so it's no surprise he learns the secret of Gatsby. He's the he's sort of the he's the narrator, he's also sort of the linchpin of the whole narrative. He's the one that brings everything together. And he claims, he's the only honest person he's ever known. So um, the narrator is telling us something about how to think of his own story that he's providing. Okay, so that's one clip.